Jonah. Everybody knows about Jonah. People who have never read the Bible know enough about Jonah to laugh at a joke about him and the quote whale. Jonah has entered our folklore. There's a playful aspect to his story, a kind of slapstick clumsiness about Jonah as he bumbles his way along, trying but always unsuccessfully to avoid God. But the playfulness is not frivolous. This is deadly serious. While we are smiling or laughing at Jonah, we drop the guard with which we are trying to keep God at a comfortable distance. And suddenly, we find ourselves caught in the purposes and commands of God. All of us. No exceptions. Stories are the most prominent biblical way of helping us see ourselves in, quote, the God story, which always gets around to the story of God making and saving us. Stories, in contrast to abstract statements of truth, tease us into becoming participants in what is being said. We find ourselves involved in the action. We may start out as spectators or critics, but if the story is good, and the biblical stories are very good, we find ourselves no longer just listening, but inhabiting the story. One reason that the Jonah story is so enduringly important for nurturing the life of faith in us is that Jonah is not a hero too high and mighty for us to identify with. He doesn't do anything great. Instead of being held up as an ideal to admire, we find Jonah as a companion in our ineptness. Here is someone on our level. Even when Jonah does it right, like preaching finally in Nineveh, he does it wrong by getting angry at God. But the whole time, God is working within and around Jonah's very ineptness in accomplishing his purposes in him. Most of us need a biblical friend or two like Jonah. Who's this from? As a young man, Jonah had predicted a period of military might and economic prosperity in Israel, and it had happened. Assyria, the dangerous northern superpower, had been temporarily weak. But a couple of decades later, God sent his flag-waving patriot to save Assyria's capital, Nineveh, from destruction. For Israel, that was destined to be a national security disaster. Who's this from? As a young man, Jonah had predicted... Oh, who's this too? We don't know if Jonah lived to see Assyria wipe his country off the map. But for his fellow patriots who did, the idea of God having compassion for the Assyrians was unthinkable. Assyria practiced war by terror and environmental devastation. It was the ultimate evil empire. How could God love those people? When was this written? About 780 through 760 BC. Jonah took a ship to Tarshish. This may have been Tartessus, which was a port on the southern coast of Spain. God sent him east to Nineveh, so he headed as far west as he could get. The traders of Tartessus had a sailing route to the Tin Islands off the coast of Britain. Tin was an essential component of bronze, which was one of the main metals used in those days. So traders carried it all the way from Britain via Tartessus to ports on the coast near Israel.